Hi guys, welcome back to my midlife capers. Um, I had put a questionnaire on the community tab recently, asking if you'd be interested in hearing a little bit more about what I do for a living. Um, I put some specific questions about would you rather hear about writing or publishing or something else I can't remember now. But the abundance of the response was interest in writing. And I asked for specific questions and, of course, didn't get any. But I wanted to go ahead and just kind of do a little bit of a video talking about the writing process, um, and share with you a little bit about how I approach it for myself as well as with clients. And this guy, okay, that's just some really great photo bombing there. I'm gonna move so that he has privacy. Anyway, but it also, I was prompted to go ahead and do this because I had a conversation with a friend recently who's been struggling with trying to get a book published. She's had several people she's enlisted for help, and it's fallen through for a variety of reasons. And I created a publishing seminar, that is available on my website, um, several years ago because I was constantly encountering people who had invested lots of money, that ended up being thrown away because um, either the people that they were working with didn't deliver quality product, or they didn't deliver what the client was expecting. And a lot of sometimes that's because they're like hidden fees and certain terminology differences, and sometimes it's because the client just doesn't know what to ask for, and they think they're getting what they need when they're really not. So my seminar covered, in 4 sessions, the difference between traditional publishing and self-publishing, and then I'll walk you through how to create a book proposal because if you do go the traditional publishing route, you're going to need that to get the representation of an agent and the attention of a publisher. But even if you're going to self-publish, you still need a lot of the information that would go into that proposal from the outset, because it's really going to make a difference in getting you set up and starting out on the right foot. And a lot of it will come into play down the road as you promote your book and promote yourself. So and then another session covers a lot of the traps that people create for themselves when they are setting out to write a book. Whether that's just making structural mistakes from the beginning, writing habits that can be counterproductive, common grammatical and style errors that come up. And I don't go into a huge tutorial on all of that stuff. Some of the basic common mistakes that I see repeated over and over again. And I don't go into any kind of like workshopping for how to write a particular type of book. I find that workshopping books can often get you only so far down the road. You'll have 2 or 3 chapters that are really, really great, and then the rest of the book doesn't measure up because you haven't had that team of people helping you through the whole thing. And a lot of workshops don't actually equip you with the skills for being able to finish writing the book on your own. So I have mixed feelings about doing that. And then I cover a section on the actual self-publishing process and the different steps that are involved, and also tips for marketing that are not super in depth, but just some basics, things you can do on your own, how to know what you can use for free before you start paying someone to help you, and then if you do hire someone, knowing what to look for in that. So those are, if you're interested, I'll put a link in the description to check out that seminar. But I cover a lot in there about the different things that I just kept seeing repeated that were really costly mistakes, and it just broke my heart to see, people scraping together enough money to pursue this passion project and then have it all used up, and they still aren't where they need to be. But as far as the writing process goes, for myself, a lot of times what I do is I try to get an outline together. If it's fiction, I'm going to map out what the story arc is, and then once I feel that I'm clear on that, then I will kind of map out the do a chapter summary, basically, and figure out how many chapters it's going to take for me to tell that story in the different components. And by writing out a little summary of what's going to happen in each chapter, it helps me to see where I might have gaps in a story, or where a scene is not going to take as long as I might expect, or a component of the story isn't going to take as long as I might expect. And so maybe I don't need 3 chapters to cover that. I only need 1. Or maybe I'm not going to do it justice if I only cover it in 1 chapter. And so I need to break up what's playing out over 3 or 4 chapters. And that is probably one of the most effective things you can do to set yourself up for success before you ever really start writing. Because if you just sit down and start trying to write a story, it's going to be very easy to get derailed. It's going to be easy to lose interest or lose your motivation. You get distracted, and then it's hard to come back to it and know where you're going, and what you intended to come next, and that kind of thing. And as I advise you to create a chapter summary or chapter outline and that kind of thing, I also always caution to hold that loosely. Let that be a guidebook for you, but not a rigid structure. Don't allow the story to unfold the way it's going to, because they do tend to take on a life of their own. And let it go where it's going to. Let characters tell you who they want to become. And if you have to cut chapters, or if you have to add chapters, that's okay. The structure allows you to do that without completely unraveling where you're trying to go. So that's really for fiction. For nonfiction, I still recommend doing an outline. Get clear on the different points you want to cover, how much time and real estate within the book you need to devote to those points. If you ever did outlines in school, where you have your main points, like the Roman numerals, and then the capital A, B, C, and then numbers under that, and that kind of thing. Get that detailed and granular in your outline, because the Roman numerals are going to be your chapters. In some cases with nonfiction, they might be sections, and then the A, B, and C are the chapters. But then under those, you're going to have subheadings where you break down the content more. One of the benefits of having a subheader is that it helps the reader to know kind of like where you're going, but also if they have to step away, they have a spot that they can come back to. Or if they're reading and they only, reading on the train commute to work, or reading at night before they go to bed, if you have more sections, if your content is broken up in a logical way, they can come to the end of a section and set it aside and not feel like they've got to keep pushing through to get to the end the of a whole chapter or to the end of a whole section or whatever. It gives them um, um, uh, benches to sit on, like park benches to sit on along the way. But the the outline is still going to be really important for you, because especially with nonfiction, it can get really easy to forget points that you want to make, or you can spend more time on one than another and it gets out of balance. There are just a variety of reasons that having that good outline is going to really serve you before you start writing. And those are really the first things that I tell clients after they know what their topic is. I do sometimes consult with people if they have several ideas, trying to narrow down which one is going to make the most sense for this stage of their process and their intention. If especially if they're like a speaker or a public figure or something, and they just have a bunch of things that they want to address and speak to, we'll talk about those and see which one seems to be kind of their seminal message. What is the thing that you want to come out of the gate with to introduce yourself to an audience, and establish an audience that's going to follow you through the rest of it, and all the other things that you want to say. So that's how the process starts. I think we'll stop there, and if you have questions that come from watching this video, please either put them in the comments section or send them to me at info@highsmithcreative.com, and I will talk about them more. And I will put another video up soon about the next steps in the process. Hope you guys have a great one. Bye.